Let's talk property. Now, what is this all about? Well, to be honest, it actually started as a pet project. You know, one of my greatest mentors is a gentleman by the name of Tony Robbins. He's been one of the greatest results coaches over the last 30 years. And the reason being is that he is the #1 person worldwide in helping people get results. And the way that he does it is he says the most effective way to be successful is to model successful people. So his logic is, if you want to be successful in property, why not go out and find other successful people in property, find out what they're doing, copy what they're doing, implement what they're doing, and then you will get the same results that they are getting. And you know, when you think about it, it's such a success formula in terms of what you're doing. So I've always been completely thirsty for knowledge. You know, they say in life that a Harvard study actually says that 58% of people never read a non-fiction book again once they leave school. 90% of people never go on a course once they leave school. Now that just blows my mind. You know, I literally am reading probably a book every 1 or 2 weeks. I'm constantly trying to learn from the best internationally, and because of that, I'm constantly trying to work with the best, the people that have created their wealth through property, both in South Africa and overseas. And so what I did is I started befriending them, becoming friends with them, and then I started to ask them questions, and then it transpired, well, can we do an interview? And then with technology and webinars and the fact that people can live all over the world, we started actually doing webinars. So that's where Let's Talk Property started from. It was just a passion and a hobby that turned into a whole section of our company, so that we can educate you and you can learn from the best, both locally and internationally. There's a blend of South African property experts, there's a blend of global property experts, and really it's a combination of the two sections, both Wealth Migrate and Wealth Create. And just to give you an example, if you go down below, you'll actually see there's a webinar there by Clem Sunter. Clem Sunter is one of the leaders worldwide in scenario planning. And there's a whole review on how he works, how he puts it together. And I've actually come up with an algorithm there that no matter what scenario takes place, you can actually see, depending on different asset classes, different investment asset classes, and also different investment locations, depending on which scenario, which will be better for you from a probability factor. And you know, in life, none of us have a crystal ball, but it can be hell of a valuable. So go along and check that one out in terms of where we are. Dr. Anastraya is a good friend of mine and mentor. At the end of the day, I went on one of his property courses in 2004, and it really made sense to me. All about managing the risk and maximizing the return. And if you know how to do that, then you can buy great investment properties. And what we did here is we focused, it was a webinar on how to analyze great investment properties. And Dr. Anastraya is one of the leaders in wealth creation, both in South Africa and worldwide. So I'd highly recommend going on there and learning from him in terms of where we actually are. Richard Dunn is one of my best of breed partners in Australia. He's been in the Australian property market now for over 15 years. He's an absolute expert. He actually started in the market in construction and now has the best feel, or one of the best feels for the market out of anyone I've ever met. And we interview him on what is happening in the Australian market and whether there's opportunity or whether it's hit the bubble. You know, a lot of people ask these different questions, so why not ask the experts, find out what's happening on the ground, understand the fundamentals, because if you understand them, then you can make educated and informed decisions. Justin Clark's the owner of Private Property. It's the biggest property portal in South Africa. It's actually, you know, it's part of a group, an international group, and really they are the leaders in terms of the internet and where property is going. And Justin and I sat down and we did an interview on what is happening with property, what is happening with auction property, what is happening with it going online, and where is property going to be in 10 years' time. So I would highly recommend going online and learning from Justin and listening to what he's got to say. Because, you know, as Robert Kiyosaki said, one of the greatest ways to be successful, one of the greatest ways to create wealth is to follow long-term trends. But to do that, you need to be hanging around the experts. You need to be hanging around the people that are making things happen in this world so that you can learn from them and that you can implement in terms of where they actually are and what it is they're doing. And then Tim Johnson, I was playing golf with Tim Johnson about 2.5 years ago. He's actually a friend of mine. We used to go to school together. He got in the auction game a number of years ago. And when we were playing golf, he was explaining it to me. He's explaining the opportunities, the fact that you could buy properties at 60% below market value. And that was about 2.5 years ago. And it really, really got my attention and another friend of ours that was at school together, attention. And the three of us were like, wow, I couldn't even concentrate on the golf. I was so excited in terms of what I was hearing. And we really went on a journey to understand this auction property, to learn from these motivated sellers, And there's actually a session that I do with Tim where I'm analyzing him, I'm asking questions, I'm trying to understand what is the best way to find value, where are the best auction properties, how do you actually go about doing it. So that's Let's Talk Property. There's a section there where you can sign up. Every month we will be bringing you, new people to learn from, and I would highly recommend go on there and give me some ideas. Who would you like to hear from? Who are the experts that you would like to learn from, so that you can understand their success, you can understand what it is they did, but more importantly, you can understand what it is they're doing today. Because just like Tony Robbins said, if you're prepared to go out and learn from the best, if you're prepared to model them, then it's the greatest way to be able to get the success that you want in your life. And if you can follow the strategies of successful people where they've implemented it and they're getting the results, then you can invest with confidence, because you know that results are only a matter of time for you. Enjoy.